Now we go to first and football. That is Packers quarterback Jordan Love. Very successful year, especially the end of the year for him last year. And he has pretty much a no-name, very young receiving core. He was asked about who his number one receiver was. When you look at their receiving core, here they are right here. Not a lot of household names. You know, some production spread around throughout the receiving group. Do you feel like this young group is enough for Jordan Love and the Packers to take the next step?
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, they won a playoff game with these guys last year. Christian Watson might very well be the best of the bunch there. Yeah. And I see, you know, he's fifth there in yards, but he was injured, of course. So if he's healthy, he probably jumps right to the top and is their number one wide receiver. Look, they don't have Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, but he's right. You could have three really good wide receivers, and on any given day, any one of them can have a big game. They're also the youngest wide receiving core in all of football. Collectively, they're making, like $12 million contractually. So just take a look at this. The oldest guy, Watson, again, who's coming off the injury last year, he's 25. These are kids. These are kids, not a lot of experience. None of them have made any money just yet. And the Green Bay Packers, I think, have a lot of depth, though. So the question is, would you rather have a standout number one and little depth, or would you rather have 3 or 4 guys or 5 guys or damn near 6 guys that are somewhat interchangeable that you can put on the field at any point?
Yeah, when you listen to Jordan Love speak, man, that's a confident young man. That's a confident quarterback speaking, and that's the mindset of becoming a great young quarterback in this league. Just like I said earlier this week, I believe he's an MVP caliber quarterback. And you look at those receivers on that list. Obviously, Christian Washington had some injuries last year, but he's a 4-3 guy who can take the top off of a defense in a minute. And Jaden Reed is no slouch. Obviously, he's from Michigan State. He led the team last year with 64 catches. Him and Romeo Dobbs both had 8 touchdowns. But I think for Green Bay, man, if you look at that nucleus of guys and how young they are, and with Jordan Love, they got time to grow. The oldest wide receiver on this team is Christian Watson.
And remember Watson. Watson was there, you know, in Aaron Rodgers last year there. And remember the rub on Watson. He dropped the ball a little bit. Remember that very first play of the season, wide open down the field and dropped the ball in the basket. So it's not about his ability to get open. Like you said, that dude's got blazing speed. He's going to get open. He's a legitimate deep threat. And I like what you just said, Plex, because I think you're right. You're now seeing the maturation of a quarterback kind of going from, you know, the caterpillar to the butterfly, the boy to the man type of thing, because Jordan Love now is acting like the franchise quarterback.
Right. If you look at those receivers on that list, and you look at what Jordan Love did last year with 4,100 yards and second in the league in touchdowns, to take that group to San Francisco and be on the brink of going to the NFC Championship game. That highlights how special this young man can be moving forward.
Yeah, people, we talk about the great year C.J. Stroud had, but when you look at the stats for Jordan Love last year, 32-11. Like, I know you don't want double-digit interceptions, but you'll sign up for that every year.
That was in the first half of the season.
Right, a lot of them. Yeah, 32-11. And I think you only had 1 pick in the last month of the regular season. That is franchise quarterback stuff, and that's why Green Bay views themselves as a legitimate threat to the Detroit Lions.
They are the sleeper in the NFC.
And by the way, you had Xavier McKinney, from the New York Giants, who's a very talented safety, shores up their defense and their passing defense, which was a bit of a weakness for them. You had Josh Jacobs, which I do think is an upgrade running back-wise, and all of a sudden you've got the makings of a damn good football team, which pisses me off.
95% of the offense being new. Is that a good thing or a bad thing for the Eagles?
It's not a good thing. You know, you people forget Jalen Hurts is still a young quarterback, right? He went to a Super Bowl, had one of the great Super Bowl performances, albeit in a loss a couple years ago against Kansas City. But if I'm an Eagle fan, there's no excuses this year for any of them, including the coaching staff and the new coordinators on both sides of the ball. You know, you've got everything locked in. Howie Roseman has built this team to win right now. You've got the 2 wide receivers, you got a tight end, you got Saquon, you got Jalen. So Eagle fans don't want to hear from a young quarterback, I have to relearn how to play football because the language is completely different and the offense is 95% new. Suck it up and play football.
No, I don't like it. I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't like it. I think Nick Sirianni is in panic mode.
100%.
Obviously, they go to the Super Bowl 2 years ago and they lose to Kansas City. And then, you insert a brand new offense in which Jalen Hurts was just learning to perfect. And you want to be, as a quarterback, in an offense to where it's close to breathing. It's like second nature.
You don't think about it.
So now you didn't have the season that you had last year. I equated to Jalen Hurts being hurt more than anything.
Okay.
Him holding on to the football in the pocket, turning the football, throwing interceptions, fumbles, and plays like that. And obviously, the Eagles couldn't stop the run.
Right.
You go back to the San Francisco game, they just kept running the ball to the left side of this defense, and they couldn't hold up at all. But I don't think that Kellen Moore is the answer. You're talking about Dak Prescott, then he goes to the Chargers, he has Justin Herbert with all the weapons that he has, and now Nick Sirianni is in panic mode, and now he brings Kellen Moore to Philadelphia to fix what didn't need to be fixed.
Yeah,
they need to play better, but I don't think Kellen Moore is going to do
I'm also not quite sure why people are so in love with Kellen Moore. Like you just said, he was the scapegoat in Dallas for their offensive woes, and they were decent offense. They weren't a terrible offense. Goes out to the Chargers, has an all-world quarterback in Justin Herbert, and still had veteran wide receivers on that team, and Austin Eckler, and that offense didn't impress anybody. I know Herbert got hurt, so everything changes the day he gets hurt. But Philly's now counting on Kellen Moore to resurrect Jalen Hurts' career, and that's probably overstating it a bit because he regressed a little bit. He wasn't an incompetent quarterback, and you've talked about the injury. People in Philly will tell you that he had 2 injuries. He had a leg injury and a shoulder injury, which is obviously going to impact how you play and your comfort getting out of the pocket, staying in the pocket, and making decisions like that. But the fact that people believe that Kellen Moore is like a young John Gruden and is going to come in and all of a sudden make Jalen Hurts an MVP candidate again, and this offense is going to be flying. It might happen because you've got great talent around him, and no one can dispute that. But when my young quarterback comes out and goes, it's 95% new, and I'm not at a place yet where I can just go rep, that's a problem.
Well, there is something else that's changed in the Eagles sideline. And we talk about how the season sort of swung when Jalen Hurts potentially got injured. But the season really did swing at this one incident. And that was when Big Dom and Greenlaw got into it. And then Dom was taken from the sidelines of the Eagles. And they literally won like 1 or 2 games since that incident happened. We have a Big Dom update. He has a new title. He is now senior advisor to the general manager, chief security officer, and game day coaching operations, which is more of a noun than a title if you ask me that last one.
Yeah.
Does that sound like a legitimate title or 3 different made-up titles?
Listen, if I'm an Eagle fan, enough of this stupid thing. With Dom DeSandro, I'm sure he's a good guy. I'm sure the players love him.
Dom is beloved in Philly.
I know he is, but
they should name a sandwich after Dom.
I'm sure they haven't, and I'm sure he's eaten a few of them too. Yeah, the big Dom sandwich at every Italian deli in South Philly, all good. Like, only the Philadelphia Eagles would try to minimize the story about their quarterback not knowing the new offense by promoting a security guard.
Come on, man.
He's a general manager, he's a security guard, and he's game day coaching operations.
Yeah, because that's Nick Sirianni needs a babysitter.
Yeah, Dom is loved more in Philadelphia than Sirianni.
I know he is. People love Dom because he's, I guess, the local guy, and he's been with them since Andy Reid was with him. But here's the reality. I'm sure Dom's a good dude, and everybody loves him. The Eagles got to stop this crap. Because as much as fans do like Dom DeSandro and the players in the team likes Dom DeSandro, the fact that we're talking about Dom DeSandro on the same day the quarterback said, I don't understand the offense, tells you all you need to know about Nick Sirianni in Philadelphia. And here's the reality. They are the best team in the NFC East. They should win that division, and I think are good enough to make a run. Just like they did 2 years ago, that's on the table. But nobody, including the most diehard Eagle fan, has any faith or trust in Nick Sirianni.
Nope.
That is a powder keg waiting to explode, and the fact that they announce a promotion of a security guard proves that.
When you take a look at the NFC North odds, we discussed earlier how the Packers can challenge the Lions. Do you think the Bears can challenge the Packers and Lions for the top?
Yeah, but we just don't know what Caleb Williams is going to be in his first year, right? He's got all the tools, he's got the arm, he's got the athleticism. So it's not up for debate that he's got all the makings of a very good quarterback, but until the bullets are flying for real, nobody knows. Like, we all thought C.J. Stroud would be a good quarterback. No one knew that he was going to do what he did his rookie year, and that's the big question mark. But, to me, I do think you have to respect Detroit. They won the division. Everybody comes back, and they solidified some aspects of their team, especially on defense. They're going to be a very good football team. Their schedule favors them winning 12, 13 games this year, and I think they will. We already talked about Green Bay and the growth of Jordan Love and that young wide receiving crew, right? Chicago can be just as good. If Caleb Williams is what I think he's going to be, and that is a generational talent, then you can't argue against the reality that the Chicago Bears have a lot of talent. The only thing we don't know, because he hasn't had a chance to show us yet, is can he translate from college to the pros? And as Plax can tell you, the biggest adjustment is the speed. Every single guy on every NFL team is the fastest guy that he saw against any opponent in college. You're talking about 260-pound linebackers running 4.4s, 4.5s. That's the question mark about a young quarterback.
Yeah, from what I've been able to see from Caleb Williams thus far, you talk about the speed of the game from the college going to the NFL to the next level. His arm talent will be able to get him out of some of those predicaments where, he's late on a throw, but he has such a strong arm that he can put it in places where other, quarterbacks can't. And I believe for Caleb Williams and the Bears, no matter which way this goes for him, if they get off to a slow start, if they're not winning, if they get off to a hot start and they run off 4 or 5 in a row, it's going to be like, all right, he's not that good yet. It's going to take some time. And if he jumps out to that 4 or 5 game, in a row season, I told you so. He's the next coming up, the next great quarterback, in the NFL. So for him, listen, when I was a rookie, when you came in, you had a smile on your face every day. You was happy because you're fulfilling a dream, a dream from a child, and you get to play in the NFL. For him, we just don't know where the Chicago Bears are now.
Yep.
But the good thing for Caleb is that he has good talent around him.
He really does. It's a good football team, and if he's even a decent quarterback, they're going to win some games people might not think they can win. Remember, the Bears open up at home against the Titans, and then they go right on the road to the Houston Texans. So he'll start off with a game that's certainly winnable, and then he's going to find exactly what it looks like to be a young quarterback that has a total command of the NFL game. But I'm bullish on the Bears, and I think Chicago Bears, when we get to Thanksgiving, will still be alive for a wild card spot.
We're going for it. 4th down, and we have some concerning reports from the North. There are reports that, oh God, my Bills' Chase Claypool is the most consistent wide receiver at OTAs. And when you look at some of the things that Chase Claypool has done in the last 2 seasons, he's been traded from the Steelers to the Bears. He was benched after frustration with the Bears. He's been traded from the Bears to the Dolphins. And he signed with the Bills this offseason. He has 2 total touchdowns in the last 2 seasons. How concerning is it that he is the most consistent receiver for the Bills?
I don't even know if it's concerning. The report is stupid. It's one thing for me to, get turned on by slow motion videos of Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball in a T-shirt and shorts to guys who aren't being guarded because we're not playing defense. How can Chase Claypool be a standout wide receiver when I'm watching these routes right here? There's nobody playing defense.
Hey, wait a minute.
What are we talking about?
Wait, with all due respect,
it's a stupid
when
report.
Aaron Rodgers is in slow motion throwing to Garrett Wilson.
It's sexy.
Nobody's guarding him either.
It's sexy, though.
It's not.
That's why.
If you put Josh Allen in slow motion, he looked just as good as Aaron Rodgers.
By the way, if I was a Bills fan, I'd be turned on by it. But this is stupid. It's stupid. We gotta stop being stupid.
I've already put it out there for Bills Mafia.
Yeah?
The Buffalo Bills are going to struggle offensively.
Of course they are.
If Chase Claypool is your best wide receiver moving forward, then it's going to be a long season for Josh Allen.
It's going to be a long season,
they
but
don't make the playoffs.
We have to stop being stupid,
The exit of Stephon Diggs is going to hit Josh Allen and this offense worse than they could ever imagine with it.
Chase Claypool looks great. There's nobody playing defense. There's nobody in pads. We're not even playing touch football. I want to know where this report came from.
And you added MVS.
And Claypool. MVS and Claypool.
It's crazy talk.
Championship pedigree.
Someone's getting fired or at least suspended upstairs. I can tell you that right now.
McDermott
with these
is on the
dopey
way out the
reports.
door.
McDermott's done after this year. I told you that 2 years ago. Guy looks good playing against air. And I own it. In slow motion, Aaron Rodgers is very sexy.
Yeah, he'll be drowning himself in blue cheese this year.
Hey there, thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.